So there actually is a 8 times faster way to do it. So you know how I implemented a compiled array and stuff? We don't actually need to do that. We don't need to sanitize the buffer. We could just read this. We could just read counter from the bank at our own offset. And then we could do stuff and so on and so forth. But you know what this means? This means this is still not optimized enough. So read new counter from bank 1 at 0. Then we set at counter to I don't know, the new counter. Of course, if we have the counter set to 0, that's just gonna make the whole thing idle. So we need to fill up all of this somehow. Now, I mentioned that 498 characters was the most you could have, but that's using this new optimized method. So let's say you have a lot more characters in there. In fact, let me just quickly do something sketchy. So you have sold characters. Let's copy those over. Boom, sold. Set at counter to 0. And we're not going to be setting the counter to 0. We're going to be doing something more clever. So we have 8 more lines used. 16. And so forth. Eventually you're gonna reach a point where you have 998 lines left. In fact, we overshot. We have too much lines, but we really only need 2. We write 0 to bank 1 at our offset, and we return to and of course, why not just print flush message 1. So now I have 1,000 lines, but you might notice that set counter is still pointing at 0. Let's fix that. So where do we actually want to go? Well, we need to go to the last line, which is line 999. So let's replace every set at counter 0 with set at counter 999. And just like that, you have a 498 character print book, I guess. The only downside to this, I guess, is you have to calculate the counter yourself, and it's not asynchronous. You have to check if new counter equals 0, but it just works.